I've got remarks, but I'll be trying to be as succinct as possible. It takes a village. It takes partnership. The governor says that we move in partnership. That's ultimately how we are operating at the Maryland Department of Transportation every day. But thank you to Bike Maryland and many of our partners for inviting me to be here. On behalf of Governor Moore, Lieutenant Governor Miller, Acting Secretary of the Maryland Department of Transportation, Katie Thompson, thank you all for the invitation. I'm energized by the progress that we're making every day, and that's done in partnership with you all. The Maryland Department of Transportation is serious about safety, and that specifically is about making sure that everybody can make it home safely every night when they go out and travel on our roads. Last month, we had a pretty exciting moment when Governor Moore, I guess it was last month, maybe at the beginning of this month, Governor Moore announced a year-over-year decline of roadway fatalities of 18%. That's a 33% reduction for our vulnerable road users compared to 2024. That certainly is something to celebrate, but at the end of the day, our goal is zero, and we have a long ways to go until we get there. One death is ultimately too many. For us, our mission is to have zero, and everybody that passes, it may be a number, it may be a percentage for us, but it truly, at the end of the day, for a community or a family, it's a father, it's a mother, it's a sister, it's a brother, it's a cousin, it's a friend. And it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we do our best to make sure everybody makes it home at night. And so as part of that MDOT Serious About Safety initiative, we are focused on taking what we can do and turning the notch to accelerate progress so that we can ultimately bend the curve of roadway fatalities towards zero. What does that mean? Well, we've made progress. Outside of just roadway fatality declines, we are advancing in a couple different dimensions that I just want to highlight. One, under Governor Moore's leadership, the department has enacted, I would argue, maybe the boldest, most expansive complete streets policy in the country, where we're updating all of our manuals, all of our policies, and making sure that every one of our projects incorporates complete streets as best we can. And that shows. Our 6-year capital program that we released in January provides more than $500 million in bike ped and safety-related investments. And that ultimately is the largest investment that the state has made in this category in modern history. Of this, more than $240 million goes to construction of projects to ultimately shape and reshape our roadways so that they're safer and more complete. And this past year, the State Highway Administration ultimately broke ground on construction on our first pedestrian safety action plan project on New Hampshire Avenue in Prince George's in Montgomery County. This is really taking data where we've got hotspots, the pedestrian safety action plan, and targeting the 23 most harmful corridors proven to be harmful for our pedestrians. So New Hampshire Avenue was the first corridor, and just last week, SHA also announced the last round of the 23 projects that are going to be moving into design and ultimately into construction. So in a matter of 3 years, we've moved the 23 corridors forward from kind of conception into delivery, which we could not be happier about. And ultimately, we know that by targeting these corridors, we're ultimately going to go ahead and save lives and make sure that folks, we have reduced crashes. MDOT has also released last year, with partnership from many faces in the room that I see here today, our Transportation Trails Strategic Plan. This is the first statewide trails plan since 2009, updated, but I would say updated, modernized, and greatly expanded. Really kind of focused on how do we make sure that our trails are connected, connecting people from point A to point B, that they're safe, and that they're also going to be able to create some economic productivity for the state. We've got great bones to build on, but we can do far, far more, and we know that there's an appetite and excitement. What we're doing now is working with our stakeholders to put our policies in place, but also put our money where we need to go ahead and accelerate the pace of progress within our trails program. Finally, another key investment that I just want to highlight that I'm really excited about is a partnership that we have new this year with 3 counties and Baltimore City to invest in safe routes to school coordinators in these jurisdictions. So this is ultimately putting investment in people so that we have people in these counties and these cities working day in and day out to make sure that our kids are able to get to school and home safely, which is really important for our work. And later today, you'll hear from some of WABA's youth ambassadors and we want to engage more youth in this activity as we go. I'll pause real quick before I get to the legislative, but I'd like to acknowledge the MDOT team that I have here. As I said at the beginning, it takes a village, it takes partnership, but it also takes good, dedicated people, and my colleagues can just raise their hand. These are just a few. These are just a few of the more than 10,000 employees that are dedicated to this task at the Maryland Department of Transportation every day. So what we're trying to do, we can't do it all alone, right? We need new tools. That's why you guys are here today. We need new tools to ensure that we can go ahead and rapidly reduce our roadway fatalities. So this year, the department has a safety agenda. We've had some favorable hearings, but it's really targeted at safety around speed. And automated speed enforcement, as well as reciprocity agreements with our peer states. We are pretty porous states. Folks come in and go over borders on a daily basis, and we need to make sure everybody understands that when they come to Maryland, we expect that they're going to follow our roadway laws. We also are updating our ignition interlock program to make sure that it's modernized and ready to do what it can to address impaired driving. We're supporting others' bills within this realm. And ultimately, what we think is that we've got a safety-oriented legislature in the House and the Senate, and we're excited about getting this over the finish line. But what we do know is that many hands make for light work. We can't do it alone. You all leaning in while you're here today to support will go a long ways to make sure we get these bills across the finish line this year. So I'm just going to go ahead and close up and just say thank you. We are hard at work. Ultimately, safety and the safety of our system is not borne by the State Department of Transportation on its own. Many of us have a responsibility when you're out there driving, when you're out there riding a bike, or when you're engaging your local constituents and your local elected leaders as well. But we're on the right path. Under Governor Moore, Lieutenant Governor Miller, and Acting Secretary Thompson, I am excited about the commitment that we have to continue to make progress. And I think, I ask that you all hold us to account in that endeavor, but I also know that we can do more by rolling up our sleeves and working together. That's what I'm excited about. So I appreciate your time today. I'm excited about what you guys are going to be able to do while you're here, but I appreciate the support. Thank you.